Hey everybody. Hi, it is Becky from Power Tools with Thread, and I want to thank you for joining me. This is a live where we are going to talk all about all things Kimberbell mini quilts. So today's video is going to be just about this video is geared toward the very beginner embroiderer. Okay, the embroiderer who has would not call themselves an embroiderer, but they've got an embroidery arm for the sewing machine, or maybe they have an embroidery only machine and they've never used it. So I see a lot of regulars here in the chat. Can you guys see me? I see good mornings. Yes, awesome. All right. You folks on the West Coast are getting more your time, right? It's only 8 in the morning for you guys. You guys miss my situation room. I do every Monday through Friday at 7. Let me put my desk down. My new Flexi Spot desk. How about that? Love it, love it. Automated for the sitting is number 2. There we gonna go. Move it down to where I can get to it while I'm sitting. I love it. You're ready, Norma says. Okay, good. So Julianne says she'd like to make this, but she can't afford it right now. That's okay. It's a 6-month-long sew-along. But this might not even be something that you actually would make. Maybe you're just here to get some tips and tricks and learn a little bit more about machine embroidery. So again, this is for the beginner. If you are a seasoned embroiderer, just, go about your business. And I'd love to play in the background while you're doing your cutting or finishing a UFO or something like that. And yes, ML Weber, thank you. Please give the video a thumbs up. That would be very helpful for the channel. So this morning, I went over what all was in the kits and the pattern and all of that, the embellishment kit from my girlfriend's quilt shop. And if you decide you want to do this along with me, I have got a link below in the description box that usually will have a little, I think right now there's a coupon code in the beginning for EMBRILLIANCE embroidery software. You do not need that to do what we're about to do. Excuse me. But when you go to, it says, blah, 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 welcome, join me, blah, 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 more, ... touch the more, ... and then that opens up the description box, and then you're going to be able to see all of the things that I'm going to be using, okay? Now, I want to talk to you about the whole Kimberbell thing. So Kimberbell is a company. It is owned by one of a twin, Kim, her twin sister, Chris. So Kim owns Kimberbell and Chris owns my girlfriend's quilt shop. They are down the road from one another in Logan, Utah. One's a big warehouse with Kimberbell. It's not really a store. And the other one is a standard everyday quilt shop. Most quilt shops will carry Kimberbell products. Okay. Now, let's see. Yes, you're here to learn the basics. Good, Alicia. I'm glad you're here. So what Kimberbell wants to be is a one-stop shop for everything that you need for your machine embroidery in order to be able to make their projects, okay? And they've got everything from, I'm going to show you some of the products that they have. They have fusible backing. This is a woven one-side fusible backing. If you know of another woven one-side fusible backing, you can probably use that and it will work just as well as this. I'm trying to give you some options because if you get into doing Kimberbell, all this stuff that I have, you guys, I have accumulated over time. Okay. I've been doing this a long time. So this is a woven. The grain goes up and down, not on a diagonal. It's not a mesh, okay, where you can't tell the weave. You definitely can see the weave. And it has, yes, Dave is right. FlexiSpot has a huge sale on desks right now, up to 60% off. You're correct. And I don't know if I have my link below in the description box. If I don't, I'll put it there when we're finished. So again, if you have another woven single side fusible, this goes on the back of your background fabric. Why? Because Kimberbell uses some very strong satin stitches in their embroidery, and it prevents the puckering. So this is very, very handy to have in just about any embroidery that you do on quilting cottons. That said, I don't generally use this when I am doing the finishing stitch as a blanket stitch. But for the most part, Kimberbell does not use blanket stitches. They use a satin stitch as the finished stitch. Okay. Next, we have project batting. Okay. This is like, I think this is 100%. This is an 85-15 cotton poly. This is their batting. Okay. If you've got batting scraps laying around, grab those. Kimberbell projects are perfect for batting scraps and a great way to use them up because generally they're not very big projects. For instance, this one finishes at 12 by 12, so it's small, right? Okay, so we need our batting. And then they also have medium cutaway embroidery stabilizer. So this is like a mesh, okay? This is what this is. And you know, you guys, I did not bring my products I needed over here that are not in the packages. I like to leave these whole and all wrapped up and pretty so that so I can always use them for show and tell, right? And I didn't even bring, I got my threads. That's what I did. I got my threads. I'll go grab all that stuff. Yes. So as you guys are talking about different options in the chat that can be used versus exactly what it is that I'm showing, that's great. Because I am doing this for my girlfriend's quilt shop, I am not going to share those suggestions here. But if you see them in the chat, that might be something that you may want to try. Okay, it's just FYI. Yeah. Okay. Also, now you need to get the designs, and the designs come on a CD. What did I do with the CD? You guys, I had everything right here. Everything was right here. Oh my goodness. And it's not right here. Why is it not? There it is. It was buried. We've got the CD. The CD has all of the designs on it, all 6, one for each month. Okay. And this is the, at a minimum, whether you source your own fabrics, you might source your own embellishments, whatever it is that you do, source your own backing and batting and stabilizer, you absolutely must have the design files in order to be able to do this. Now, the design files do not come on a USB, and they are not available for a digital download right now, as far as I can tell. So we do have the CD. If you don't have a CD reader in, let's say you got a new computer and it doesn't have a CD reader, then in my Amazon store, I have a section for tech, and there is a CD reader in there from Dell that I trust. As a former cybersecurity analyst, I like Dell products. So made in the USA, right? So yeah, that, or compliant with USA stuff, right? So you do have to have the CD. And what I did was I moved all of the designs and the instructions and everything onto my handy dandy little Power Tools with Thread USB stick. I've got these in our store. It has a little light right there on the one side of it so that you know when the files are being accessed. If the light is blinking, don't pull it out because it's not ready to be ejected just yet. So this is very, very handy to have. I like it since it has a little sewing machine on it. And then I know for a fact that that has embroidery designs. Very nice. And I tell my husband, keep your hands off my USB stick. Not for your use, right? Okay, design files. So the kit, I mentioned you can source your own fabrics, but they have got a kit that you can get. Again, I've linked it below. And the kit comes with all 6 months worth of fabrics in the amounts that you need. And it includes the front, the binding, and the backing. So we went over this morning. If you would like to see every one of them to see what they look like, you can check out the Situation Room for December 15th. And you can take a look at that. Okay. But the very nice thing about this is every bit of fabric that I need in the colors, because I want mine to look like theirs, is going to be just exactly what I need, all in one spot. I don't have to go digging. And to me, you guys, time is money. I become paralyzed when it's time for me to grab fabrics. I don't know what's going to work, right? Somebody asked the question, what size is my USB? This is a 4 gig USB, and it is perfect for embroidery machines. Most embroidery machines cannot read larger than a 4 gig. It doesn't have the capacity for that kind of reach to be able, and you've kind of got to understand how external storage works. But if you put a ginormous big USB into your embroidery machine, it'll probably go, wait a minute, that room is too big for me to look in. So I'm just not going to look in it at all. But this is 4 gigs. So this is about the max of what embroidery machines today, 2023, can look in. Some of them are a little bit more advanced. The Luminaire might be able to, I don't know, I haven't tested it. So Sharon wants to know, are the quilting designs included? And by quilting designs, what she's talking about are the background quilting designs. And short answer is no. Now, you can go to kimberbell.com and you can download their quilting designs. You can get a whole kit for the mini quilts, all right? And it'll have every bit of the quilting designs, background quilting designs that you want. But there are other options that you can do, okay? So let me show you what those options are. You might be the bearer of Kimberbell's clear blue tiles. I absolutely love these. I reach for them all the time. I quilted my recent Peace on Earth quilt using the clear blue tiles. And what you get in the clear blue tiles is, this is just basically embroidery designs and an alignment system. That's all it is. That's all that this is. So you get a book to tell you how to use them all in this kit. These are wonderful. I don't have these linked, but if you jump to my girlfriend's quilt shop and click on the link for all of these mini quilts, as soon as you get to the quilt shop, just go hunting around and you'll find everything that I'm talking about here. They have it all. Okay. And then it also comes with, you get a little notepad or whatever, but whoop, I just had a tile drop out. This is for the one of the bitty blocks, right? This is a 2x2 bitty block. And you get all of these. If I hold this up, it's going to fall out. And I don't want it to fall out. Let me point this down a little bit so I'll show you guys. You guys can see me fumbling around down here. You get some marking pens, water soluble. I don't use those as a rule. I like to use the iron off pens. You get, bye Francie, she's got to go. She'll catch the replay. You've got all of your design files on this, and there are loads and loads and loads of design files. Okay. And then you get your, I'm going to put this over here because I'm probably going to use it. Okay. And then you're going to get, I got a pin in there. You get some slat bands to wrap around your stabilizer after it's out of the wrapper, and you want something to hold it down. But these are the alignment tiles for the clear blue tiles. And the one you would probably use the most in this one is the 4x4 for the January quilt, because it is each block will use the 4x4. If you're doing the clear blue tiles, they also give you the option for block by block. That is what they recommend. And there's a difference. And I'll explain that to you here in a second. And we've got lots and lots, and we also have a sewing pin in there that doesn't belong there, but that's how that goes. Now, what comes on that USB, let me get the pictures, is you get, I'll hold this up. So you get winter, which is what I did the Peace on Earth quilt with. You get spring, you get swirls, you get loops, you get summer, it has some bumblebees, and you get fall, and it has some candy corns. And then you have border swirls, border loops, and there are the designs that go in that little 2x2 beady block. Okay. Now, the issue with these designs is that they are all the same scale. So the size of the swirl or the snowflake in the 4x4 block is the size of the swirl or the snowflake in the big 8x12 or an 8x8. Okay. So it's not a scalable design. The whole point of clear blue tiles is on a large project for you to use these tiles, figure out where you're going to put your placement all the way across and all the way down, start in the middle, hit go, and you're off. And it works wonderfully. I love these. I use them all the time on smaller, anything I'm not going to put on the long arm, I use generally the clear blue tiles. So also, just an FYI, if you do get the clear blue tiles, there is also something called an expansion set. These are large templates for use in the 14 up to a 14-inch hoops. I don't have one for the 16, but it's up here. Like the 8x14 is the largest. And that's what I used on my quilt that I just finished this week. You don't need this to do these projects that we're talking about. So if you've got the clear blue tiles, maybe you haven't used them yet, now is the perfect time to pull them out and use the winter design that's on the USB in the design that we're going to make for chilling with my snowmies for January. Okay. So just FYI, if you see them, the expansion kit does not have a USB in it. That's a big thing too. Don't get the expansion kit thinking you're just going to go stitching, because you won't. You've got to get the original clear blue tiles first that's got the USB in it, and then you get the expansion set for the larger hoops. So it's one before the other. Okay. So just FYI, but you don't need the expansion set for this particular mini quilts series. All right. I want to I want to share my screen with you guys, and I want to show you Kimberbell.com, and I want to show you how to find, you know what, Amazon just takes over everything, don't they? Well, I have to type Kimberbell correctly. Okay. So I want to share my screen with you guys and show you what you can do if you don't have the clear blue tiles. Okay. Again, this is an option that we're talking about in order to do the series for the mini quilts. Oh, they've got some cute stuff with stuffies. Adorable. So let's go to products and background quilting. And I want to show you what you can do. So let me share my screen with you. Present. Oh, Janie, we're not doing a giveaway, my friend. So no hashtag power tools today. That is for Sundays only. All right. But good try. You get an E for effort. How about that? Yeah. All right. Let me make sure you can see what I see. Yes. So they have a background. Now notice, oh, you can't see up in the, I am at Kimberbell.com, not my girlfriend's quilt shop. Okay. I'm at Kimberbell.com. This is where you get the background quilting designs if you want to do them. You don't have to do them. So there's another thing. If you haven't got the money right now, you really only need the CD. You don't have to get all of this other stuff. I'm going to show you more options. Okay. So when you are on the main page, you go to products and hover over that, and then go to, I've got to get it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, and background quilting. So that's where I am right now, is I'm on the background quilting page. And as we scroll down, so right here, if you're lost on what is clear blue tiles and block by block gives you your seam allowance around the edges. And it's a different measurement. It'll mess up in your head and you kind of got to think about it, okay? So it feels weird. It totally feels weird, and you don't use those blue templates. All right. So we're on block by block. These are designed to eliminate batting in the seams. That's what that's about. Design. So you're not going to get big, thick seams. And then you can see the designs on the block by block. And here are our mini quilts, volume 1, January through June. Okay. But look at all these different designs that you get. We've got turtles and, you know, moose with trees, and we have pumpkins and all kinds of stuff. So here are your mini quilts. All right. Now I want to show you. Take a look at this. So here is like the scarves. I want to make sure. Yeah. So here are the scarves and the, let me hover over this. This is winter 5. So that's the scarves and the mittens and all that. So here is January through June. You can buy the whole 9 yards. It's $99. All right. Or you can just scroll down here. There are other designs and you can look. So like here are a series of loops. Here is spring. Okay. You can just get individuals. Here is like pebbles. That's $9. And look at all of the different sizes that you get in the pebbles. So here is love for February. Okay. These are Valentine 1. So what you can do is you can buy them a la carte, get the ones that are super cute. All right. And then you might have other background quilting designs in your machine already, or maybe you've purchased them for other projects that you've done, or you might have clear blue tiles. It's completely up to you how you want to do that. Okay. So, oh, wait a minute. I didn't mean to add that to cart. Let me view details. I'm not adding it to the cart. So if you take a look in here, the January through June, are you looking at it like I am? You are. Okay, good. I just want to make sure. You're going to get, they are on sale through, it says December 1st. Huh, interesting. It's after December 1st. You probably won't get the sale, but there are your winter, there's the carrot. Okay, these are the designs that are used, but there is the pebble, there is a loops, there are some zigzag. Okay, here's some little border pieces. These are the designs that are in there. You get 22 finished block tile sizes for the clear blue tiles quilting method. And see, these are everything you're going to get. So if you want to do that, again, you don't have to do that. So that is the external DVD player plug and play, or do you need to download an app for the video? Oh, Patty, it's just plug and play. It's just a CD reader. That's all it is. It's not a DVD. Well, you can put DVDs in it, but it is just a CD reader. It's pretty inexpensive too. Okay. So I just wanted to give you guys the options of what's available out there for background quilting. Now, let's talk about background quilting, shall we? I happen to have a Brother Luminaire, and I want to show you, if you've got a Luminaire, we're going to get in here and take a look. Let me zoom in a little bit on my screen. I want to show you guys. Oh, let me get this right. Let me just make sure my camera doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and there are background quilting designs in the Luminaire. So you can go to my design center and you can create a box and grab the box and tell it okay. And we're going to say that that's the box we want. But if you want a different size box, you can hit the size button, and then it's 6x19. There is a keypad. I'm going to make it 4.5, set by 4.5, and set. So now there is the size of the square that is the block that we're going to make on for this chilling with my snowmies snowman block. I'm going to tell it okay. Now I need to fill it with a design. So right here on this one with the red and the little lines, I'm going to touch that, and I can choose a design right there. I'm going to hit that, and then it gives me a picture. I can hit select, and look, there are my circles that we just saw. Okay. So I can take my circles and tell it okay, and tell it okay. And I'm going to hit my paint bucket, and I'm going to dump my circles in my box. There's my background quilting. Ta-da! All right. So that is something that is an option if you would like to do that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So me time with Kimberbell. Okay. Me time is, yeah, includes the background quilting. Sometimes. Yes, it does. Me Time is not Kimberbell. It is a sister company to Kimberbell. Me Time is machine embroidery time, and it includes collectible Christmas, perfectly pieced, which is piecing in the hoop, and then the Bella box. But yes, it is born from the same company. So, but they are two separate companies. The Stellaire does it. I believe the Stellaire, anything that's got design center will have the ability to do that. So my PR 1055, my 10 needle has the ability to do that. That would be an excellent topic for the Situation Room, Emma Weber. Okay, thank you. I'll bring that up. Yeah. So I just wanted to give you guys some options. Also, you might have purchased some, let's say, mug rug designs from elsewhere around the internet. Take a look at the background quilting of those designs. And if you are savvy enough with a program like Embrilliance Essentials, you can delete everything except the background quilting in that design, and then save it as your background quilting design and use that. All right. And then last but not least, you can always background quilt the fabric before you put it in the hoop by just doing lines or zigzags or swirls or something like that on your domestic machine. So there are a lot and lots of options for background quilting doing this entire series. And I'll be honest with you guys, these blocks are this big. You're not going to see a lot of the background quilting. It just adds a little something to it that makes it better and adds to the cuteness. Okay. So just FYI about that. Okay. Now let's get to this. You have it on your destiny. Excellent, Norma. Yay. You got to love it. I know you guys are sitting there while I'm telling you, you're going boop, boop, boop and popping all over your machines. I think that's great. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of different options. If you are going to be doing the background quilting from a design that is inside of your machine, then I would recommend when we get started, as soon as you put your batting down and you've got your fabric then on top of it, what you want to do is make sure to take some paper tape and tape those edges of the fabric down to the stabilizer so the foot doesn't get hung up underneath. The same method that I teach when I do my lesson on end-to-end quilting. Okay. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. So I think we are ready to get started. Now, one of the things when I embroider, I've been yakking for 30 minutes and you haven't even gotten to it, but that's because this is an introductory video to explain to you how I go through my process and and how I do what I do. So I have got my iPad. I uploaded the instructions to my iCloud, and then I downloaded it to my iPad. So this prevents me from having to kill a tree, okay, and use a lot of ink. And then just for this process, when I'm doing this, I go into my settings, into the screen settings, and hit timeout or auto lock or something, and I tell it never, just for this, so that it's all so that it's all available to me all the time. Evelyn wants to know if I have a video on the Luminaire 3. Evelyn, I think any of the videos I've done where I'm using the Luminaire, I've got lots. In short, yes, lots of videos. I've also got a video on how to do background quilting using the stipple around applique. Take a look at that, and that's a good one to see how to do what I just showed you. So I've got my instructions sitting out here, okay? And for Mini Quilts Volume 1, I am using probably a combo, I think. I am using Dimes Exquisite 40 weight thread. These are both exquisite, okay? So this is the thread that I'm using. Someone had asked, because I mentioned this morning, learning the technique about fringing on the scarf. You can do a bobbin of the same color and then trim those threads. Or the instructions tell you you can use a wash away thread and then just hit the back of the project with a wet cotton swab, and the bobbin thread will go away and it'll fluff up. Okay. And you can do your little fringes like that. So yeah, you struggle with background quilting blocks. Very helpful. Well, good, Cheryl. I'm glad you got something out of this. Okay. All right. So I pulled my threads and got this going. All right. Also, I like to keep, I'll just show this to you guys. These are the bobbins I'm using. Okay. They are Dimes Exquisite, not exquisite, Dimes Steady Stitch bobbins. For the Luminaire, these are the plastic ones. They are style A, class 15, and I like to use a 70 weight. Okay, that's what I'm using. See that 70D/2? That's what I'm using. I've had this tube about 2 years. I got 3 left. One of them, I can't find the end to. That is so annoying. I've been pushing it back in there for a long time now. Okay. I like to keep all of my tools in a little clear tub because it never fails. As soon as you get to embroidering, absentmindedly, you set your scissors down somewhere else. And then you waste a lot of time searching for your scissors, always. I've got some KK2000 in here. We don't need it on this project. All righty. There's all the stuff I need. Right. Most Kimberbell projects you can do in a 5x7 hoop. There's very few that you can't do. For the most part, Kimberbell scales all of their projects to 5x7 at the largest. Every once in a while, they'll do some larger designs. So I'm going to use my brother 5x7 magnetic hoop. This was part of an upgrade. Y'all, was this the upgrade to XP2 or XP3? I can't remember. And I've got my Lori Holt magnetic, or it's not magnetic, it's a metal book stand. And that's where I keep my pieces. that's where I keep it all. It works fine just like that. So I will be using that. I do like Filtech. Yes, I do like Filtech bobbins. Those are the ones I use on my multi-needle, the magnetic Filtech bobbins on the multi-needle. They don't use the style A. They use a different kind of bobbin, different size. All righty. And then when we get finished, they want you to trim the blocks to a certain size. And for that, Kimberbell recommends, these are called Orange Pop rulers. And I've got them in a little mesh bag here. Okay, and I'll get one out. So this one here, these are for centering designs and what we call fussy cutting in the quilting world. Okay, and you can just nest these rulers within one another and create different shapes, right? So you can create different size shapes to trim. So yeah. Well, that's a great tip, Sherry. See, she's been around the block here on this. She'll keep the bobbin color different so you can see it to snip it on the back to do the fringing. That is an option that they tell you in the instructions, okay, to be able to do that. So awesome. You like your magnetic frame. I love magnetic frames. They're very handy. All right, you guys. So I'm going to turn the camera a little bit. You can just kind of eyeball my sewing room here. I've got to get some batting, and I'm just going to turn it. That's sitting on top. But I'll just show you guys so you can see me wandering around in my room. I know you don't want to look at my my long arm. So, but I've got to get, I did not get my batting or my stabilizer. So I'm going to do that right now because I'm completely and totally prepared for this, right? Let's see here. Look at that. And that's the only thing I didn't do was that. Okay. Okay, so I am ready to go. Let me turn this here. That didn't take too long. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get the backing, the woven fusible backing onto the back of the background fabric. So let's see here. I'm pretty sure that's the first thing we need to do. I'm going to look here and read my instructions and tell me what I need to do. So on page, I'll show you guys. What page are we on here? This is page 3. They will give you a list of colors right here. Those are the list of the thread colors you're going to need for this particular design. And they do mention that you can get organized if you want, and you can label some baggies and put the pieces that you need for each snowman in a different baggie if you want. I don't find the need to do that. You might need to do that, like especially if you are going to be taking this to retreat somewhere and you're going to be stitching it there and you don't want to, you know, hassle with having to dig around and find everything. So they give you the materials needed, and then for your material, they tell you how much you need to cut and how to cut it on each fabric piece so that you don't cut things the wrong way. And that way you always have enough fabric for what you're doing. So I am going to grab, so we're going to cut some fabric. I'm telling you, this is from the beginning, you guys. I need my cutting mat, and a rotary cutter would be handy. So let me grab that. I'm going to use my quilter's cut and press, okay? And the rotary cutter. There we go. Okay. And I need a ruler, do I not? Yes. I should probably do this over here. Okay. There's my ironing station. You guys can see what I'm doing there. A little bit better. I'll take the fabric. And this is how it goes. Excuse me. I don't mean to reach in front of you guys. But I'm going. Okay. So the first piece of fabric is the dark blue. So I'm going to come into my kit, grab the dark blue. Let's see. I think, don't we need to get the backing, fusible backing on there first? Let me double check. First things first. So iron fusible backing to the wrong side of the background fabric. Okay, so this is the gray that we're going to do first, which is the chillin' with my snowmies. That is the gray with the dot. All right. So they want you to cut one 6.5 by 6.5. Easy enough. And I generally don't cut on the side with the selvage first. Okay, I've just got an Omni Grid 9.5 inch ruler, and it has the 1/2 inch on there already, so I can just cut the let's see here. 6.5 by 6.5. I think that'll do it right there. It's oversized, okay, which is fine. And then they want you to do the woven background backing. It's fusible on one side. I have it by the bolt, okay. And what I do on these, I'm pretty lazy the way I do this, you guys. So I take the fabric and I put it just barely over, it's like 1/8 of an inch over the edge and the edge, okay? If it's not cut perfect, don't worry about it because you're going to trim it away. And then I just put my iron on it like this, just to kind of tack it on. I don't get all hung up on making sure everything is minutely perfect to the nth degree on when you're doing embroidery like this, because again, you're going to cut it away. And then I just take this and right inside the edge of the fabric, I just run my rotary cutter up to leave a few threads on the outside of that. Just like that. So there's none of the fusible visible from the front of the fabric, and it's all on the back of the fabric. Okay. And then from the back, I'll take it and just press it on real good and make sure that it stays on like I need it. Now, I'm not using any steam on this. You can shrink this stuff ahead of time if you want by holding your iron over it and giving it a shot of steam and then let it dry. This is never going to be washed, so I am not going to pre-shrink my fusible woven. All right, not going to do that. Nice and hot, this will work fine, okay? Let's see what your questions are in the chat. Can I recommend which foot you should use for zigzag edging to the inside of a bag? No, not right now. I can't even think about that. What happened to my cutting table? Oh, it's on the other side of my sewing room. Is where it is. It moved. Yeah. Let's see. I am just keeping it real, you guys. Sometimes Kimberbell gives a cut page. Is that not part of the instructions? Yes, it is. Now, the way I do this, you guys, what I'll do is, and that's what I just showed you on the instructions, right? Yeah, my little tablet. I got it on my iPad. It does have cutting instructions listed so that you can see exactly how to cut everything so that it fits on the fabric that they give you in the kit. What I usually do is and you always get way more fabric than what you need. Okay. So what I'll do is I just cut a piece to size without cutting them all at one time. So you can do, and probably will the next time, I'll just iron like a whole swath of that fusible woven on the back of all the fabric, then cut it out as I need it. Cause I need 5 blocks of 6.5 inches square. Right. So, but we're just going to do one block right now, the chilling with my snowies. And depending on the time we have, then we'll do another one, either probably tomorrow, maybe Monday. Yeah, not over the weekend, but Monday, so that you guys can see how to do the applique. Then you're going to be on your own to finish out the rest of them yourself, and then we can get it together on another live. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that. I'm going through this now and doing this real slow and step by step of how to do it for each piece. Once you get good at this, you're going to want to prep all of your fabric ahead of time and cut it all at one time and have all your squares stacked up and ready to go. Okay. But this is just the slow way of doing it so that those folks who don't know what to do, they can see just a piece of it and go, okay, now I get it. So anyway, that's kind of that's how I do things real slow. All right. So yeah, my cutting table's on the other side of the room, Betty. You're not late, Vera. We're going slow. You haven't missed a thing. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you love my studio. Thank you. Yeah, I spend a lot of time in here. So did I make my bag for the orange pop rulers? Oh, I see, Stephanie. No, that is actually a bag that I got from Creative Notions Quilt Shop. It came in one of my subscription boxes. Right. So, okay. I need to get stabilizer now for my hoop. Now, if you have a standard hoop, again, 5x7. Let me pull this out. Whoop. So this is the standard 5x7 hoop. I've got some tearaway stabilizer in here, but I'll show you how you can cut your stabilizer and get it in there in just a second. So do the kits come with the backing fabric? No, ma'am. Yes, I think they do, right? Did I read that? Backing? Yes. Front, binding, and backing. Yes. Worth it, yeah? Okay. You're a newbie to Kimberbell. Okay, good. Well, again, if you get sucked into this, that's not my fault. Not my fault. No, I'm working in such a small space, and this is so hard because my sewing room is big, and I'm usually wandering around getting my steps in, right? Getting my steps in. Okay. Now, when I cut my stabilizer, I don't get all hung up on, well, if it's 5x7, it's got to be 7x9 or something like that. I don't do that, you guys. Okay. That's just not, that's too hard. So, now brother has this very cool little gizmo, and this is a screwdriver. Okay. So this is a screwdriver, and it's got a hole in the end of it. But look, there's a doolally in there. Okay. That hole is designed to go on this thumb screw. So you can take this, and it's easy if you've got an arthritic hand to be able to loosen that thumb screw. Very handy. Yeah. Okay. So when you're going to be hooping with a standard hoop, let me put this down here so you can see. My camera likes to turn itself when I'm not looking. All right, what I do with my, here it is. So all I do is I just take my stabilizer. This is that mesh stabilizer. Okay, see, it's nice and soft, has a drape to it, nice hand, it's drapey, and it's a mesh. It is not woven, it is a mesh. So when you're using a standard hoop, I'm going to take the outside of the hoop. Oh, this is a piece I've got cut already. Okay. And I put the arm of the hoop kind of right, I don't know, on the edge, on the end. You want to make sure you have at least an inch on the outside. Okay. And I've got enough top and bottom, at least half an inch top and bottom. And then I just take my rotary cutter and I cut about an inch or so to the outside of it on the other side. And that's how I measure my stabilizer. Very, very simple way to do that. You know it's going to fit because you used the hoop. Okay. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to take this and just lay it on top. I usually lay it against the way it rolls. I don't know why. Now your hoop, your inner hoop will have, all inner hoops will have some kind of indicator to tell you what's top and what's not. So on this particular hoop, this is the Brother 5x7, there's a teeny tiny little arrow right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little teeny tiny arrow right there. Okay. And you want to, and there's a teeny tiny arrow up here at the top of this one. So that tells you what goes with what. Some of them have little belly buttons, an innie and an outie. And it's just a matter of the kind of hoop that you have. And I like to recess it by putting, you want to make it nice and big. Okay. Don't do it while it's super tight. And then just, I put the top in first and then kind of just push it in nice and flat. And on this stuff, not so much on tearaway, but on this stuff, you can kind of tug it and get it so that it's nice and smooth in there. It's very simple to do. That's about as tight as I can get it with my hand because I'm old, but I can use this tool and make it even tighter. And it sounds like this. You hear that? That's a good hooping. So I've got stabilizer. I can see the stabilizer all the way around all sides. Okay. So that's how I know that that's a good hooping. All right. So my fabric is ready to go. I need a piece of batting. I'm grabbing a scrap of batting. And a lot of times I'll do this. I will just take a whole ginormous piece of batting and hang it off the side of the machine. But we know that the batting isn't going to be any bigger or not too much bigger than the fabric itself. I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to about 1/4 of an inch larger all the way around, or so, 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch. Great use of batting scraps. Okay. So long as you use the same batting throughout the, will I be in Tucson at Kathy's? I think so, Charlotte. Yes. So long as you use the same batting throughout the entire project, it's going to look wonderful. It won't have any kind of weird texture problems or loft issues. Okay. Yes, once you start Kimberbell, you're going to go down a rabbit hole, and I'm sorry. I'm not responsible for this. We had this conversation this morning, y'all. Not responsible. I've warned you. Once you get into this, you're going to be, oh my word, I can't believe that. Okie doke. So one of the things I'm going to do, I'm not going to do the block by block quilting where it leaves you a little extra around the outsides. And that's because I have a tool called a trimmer by George. Now, trimmer by George is by Hoop Sisters. It's a totally, they don't sell it. They don't sell it at, they might sell it at my girlfriend's quilt shop, because it is carried in different quilt shops all over the place. So I'm just letting you guys know, I'm not going to do the block by block because I will be doing the trimming from the trimmer by George. And that has a metal edge on it and allows you to trim right up next to your outside stitching, so that then you can flip the fabric up and trim, and it's nice and clean, and you don't have to have all of that in your seam allowance. Okay. You can blame me anyway. Sure. That's fine. Oh, yeah. You've been using it like a regular screwdriver with the blade side. Oh, sure, Sherry. Yeah, that's awesome. So it does have a regular screwdriver on it. It's got a little knob, a little point knob. You can hold that and it'll flip out. Okay. And that works well if you've got one that doesn't, if you need a screwdriver for something, it's fabulous for that. I love these little tools. They're great. But for that knob, that's what that little hole is for. And it's fantastic. My hand doesn't hurt. I've got some osteoarthritis happening. Trimmer by George is a game changer, Cindy says. Yes, ma'am, it sure is. And I'll get it and show it to you guys when we're getting ready to do our cutting. But I just wanted to let you know that. Okay. So you have the lucky pillow, luck of the gnome bench pillow, Halloween. Margie, that a girl. Oh, and they all need to be started. Well, you better get with it, sister. Yeah. All righty. I think we're ready to get started. My goodness, almost an hour. But I told you guys this was going to be, oh, they don't carry the trimmer. Okay. Well, you can get them from Hoop Sisters. I'll link it below. If you'd wait until I get a link there, I might have it in the description box. I don't know. But if you're going to get one, and you guys, you will use that trimmer by George on all kinds of projects, whether they're from Sweet Pea or Designs by Juju or Hoop Sisters or whoever. So it's on your Christmas list. Good, ML Weber. It's a fantastic, fantastic thing. All right. I think we're ready to get started here. So See how I told it don't time out for this? I love that. I don't care if my battery goes down. I'll deal with that later. All righty. What do we got to do here? This is the square we're going to be doing. Chilling with my nomies in the center. That's the one we're doing right now, I believe. That has that cute little scarf for the background quilting. All right. Quilt block instructions. They call this the sentiment block. I am on page 7. All right. So it says iron fusible backing to the wrong side of the background fabric. We just did that, right? And then option, block by block quilting. You can use the Winter 5 4x4 design. Again, that 4x4 doesn't include, it's not out to the edges, okay? Option 2, hooping instructions. Refer to page 26 for the traditional hooping. It says mark the center of the background fabric. Easy enough to do, my friends. My tray. And that's because you may not have cut this straight like I didn't, okay? You don't have to. Mark the center of the background fabric. We're going to fold it in half, make a little crease, because we're going to press this when we get done. It doesn't matter, okay? And then we're going to fold it in half again. And you can use the creases if they're dark enough. I'm going to make, this is a friction marker. This is heat away friction marker. I've got these in my Amazon store. I'm just going to make a tiny little crosshair. Or you can use a sticker. If you are so inclined, you can do that. All right. Okay, good. Everybody's is on the way. You guys are experienced. What are you guys doing in here? Where can you get the screwdriver that I use? Well, you can get the one that says brother on it, or there's another one. It's about half the price. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can. No, that's not what it's called. I can't remember, you guys. I can't remember the name of where to get it. I will this be available as a tutorial? You have an appointment. Marge, you're going to be able to come back. So you're leaving at about what, the 57-minute mark. So since you've watched all of this, just when you come back, it'll be on replay and you can pick up there and keep going. Okay. So do I pin the stabilizer to the hoop? No. I never recommend using pins in the embroidery field, ever. As a rule, do not do that. It is too easy to forget they're there or to miss them, forget to pull them out. They disappear into whatever the background and you don't see them and you will break a needle. Oh, you just turned in now. Okay. Well, you'll be able to watch this when you get done. The beginning of it is all about the basics of the embroidery and how we're doing all of this. Okay. So it says mark the center of the background fabric, cut the stabilizer larger than the hoop, tape the fabric to the center of the stabilizer. That's what I just said for you guys, was to tape, right? Do I have tape in my, I do. You can tape. Kimberbell has this adorable Kimberbell tape dispenser. Isn't that cute? You got to have cute in your embroidery room, right? In your sewing room. So this is paper tape. That now Kimberbell has paper tape that you can get. Okay. There are other brands of paper tape that are out there that you can certainly get. Mine says Kimberbell on the inside there. Okay. So this is Kimberbell products, just FYI. But there's lots of options out there. Now, okay, we got that. Okay. So I've got this hoop. I need to mark it so that it's centered. You can, if you want. As a rule, when you first put your hoop in, the needle is going to go to 0 right in the center of the hoop. There is a sensor that this does in the arm that tells the machine what size hoop you are using. Isn't that handy? So there's a sensor. All right, tape the fabric to the center of the stabilizer, hoop the stabilizer and fabric with the center mark in the center, and then go to embroidery instructions. My problem is it didn't say what to do with the batting. So When we have embroidery instructions, I want to show you guys this. This is important with Kimberbell designs. So it says embroidery instructions. It's got a box and it has little diagonal lines on it. And it says choose a neutral thread color. What that means is the color of thread that you use is not important. It won't be seen in the final design. And that's really important because what I'll do is I'll figure out what the first color of thread is going to be seen that can be seen. And that's the one I usually use for my neutral thread color in the beginning. And then they have a little eyeball and it says choose a visible thread color. Okay. So those are two keys that Kimberbell uses to tell you what color of thread to use. Also, if you've got color blindness or something like that, they have begun using a symbol key. Let me pull this back. They've begun using a symbol key for their thread colors. So all of the symbols are different. All right. It tells you the name of it underneath. And if it doesn't ever tell you what kind of thread to use, you can buy a thread kit that they have that will work. But if you don't buy the thread kit, it just tells you mint, blue, blue, green, green, yellow, whatever. And then it has a symbol key. So that's very, very handy. Yeah, the screwdriver is about $20. Yeah, you can get less expensive ones, but I don't know how, it all works in the shipping. All right. You will also see the hoop with an arrow in it, and that tells you which way is up. All right. It gives you your stitches. This is 4.50 times 4.51, and it has 11,600 stitches in it. All right. And here we go with the applique block, Snow Me number 1, and it says to make 1 block. All right, so let's get down to this. It's going to go through the snowman here first. So it will tell you what kind of stabilizer you need. It has cutaway stabilizer, all right? And the green heart is the fusible backing. So it tells you what you need. It also tells you when you need to iron. That's handy. Okay. So I want to get down to that one. So this is cutting for snow. We got all the snow. We already did it. We're going to do the chillin' of that. All right. Okie dokie. So I guess we're ready to do the chillin' with the Snowmies block. Let me show you how to do this. Let me go to home and tell it okay. All right. I transferred my designs from my CD onto my USB. So I'm going to put this in. And you can see it's got the little red light on there. And I'm going to touch embroidery. So we have sewing, embroidery, Disney, and My Design Center. Embroidery. And on Brother machines and Baby Lock machines. Let me scroll you in so you can see the screen. Very good. All right. They have a pocket, and the pocket is for memory, and that's where you're going to get all of your external designs. And where am I going to get it from? You can get it from inside the machine, from a USB. You can control the USB with a mouse. We've got a chip, wireless, or you might have downloaded it from the Brother Cloud. So I'm just going to go to USB. Now, some embroidery machines cannot read down inside of files. If that is the case with your machine, you will need to, on the CD, dig down into the files, like you'll have to open the folder. So this says embroidery files, instructions, SVG files for electronic cutting. Okay. You're going to have to dig down into those folders. So like on this one, I can get into my embroidery designs, and now I can see all of the files. It shows ART, DST, EXP, Jeff, etc. for the different home embroidery machine formats. Some embroidery machines cannot do that. So you're going to have to do that on your computer or your laptop in order for you to get down to the PES files. Okay. And now here's another folder for January. There we go. Now I can see all of my designs. So you might have to get to this point and extract all of these and put those on the USB. Okay. Okay. What do you guys? You guys are funny. I'm going to hit chilling with my snoomies and we're going to hit set. Okay. So this is just straight embroidery. That's all it is. I probably need to pick a nice blue color. That would be handy, would it not? And I'm going to hit now. If I wanted to do any editing at all, I could, but I'm not going to. Okay. So let's see. The very first is, let me see that one. That's that. And then that and those lines. You don't. Okay. And hit OK. It's not giving me a placement line for the batting and all of that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a placement line on here. Okay. Let me show you guys how I'm doing that. You need a placement line to know where to put everything. Okay. Pretty easy to do. I need a straight edge and I need a marker. Now I can see the lines. I'm just going to mark these little centers on here. I'm going to make a straight edge. And then here, straight edge on that line. You can use a ruler. You can use whatever you got. No big deal. Okay. That's surprising. Usually with embroidery designs, you will get a placement line. I just didn't see that. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put this, and then I'm going to take my fabric with the batting. Where'd that go? Here it is. I'm going to fold it in half, put it on that line. Okay. Get that kind of straight, and then fold this one over and get that straight. And that works. And then it said to tape it down, and we'll do that. Usually you'll get a placement line for the batting and a placement line for the fabric. Okay. Now I want to show you what I'm going to do for my background quilting. I'm just going to do those two. I don't need another one. All right. Okay. For my background quilting, I want to do the winter design from the clear blue tiles. So I'm going to get my clear blue tiles CD here. I'm going to pull this USB out. I'm going to put my USB in for the clear blue tiles. Okay. The placement lines are in the optional quilting designs. Thanks, Margie. Okay. You guys are smarter at this than I am. All right. I'm going to go to add to the memory, USB. And I want the embroidery file quilting. Yep. PES for my brother. I want winter. And I'm going to use clear blue tiles. And I want the one that is the 5x5. Or thereabouts. And it's hard to tell because the scale is all different on these. What size is this? That one is too big. Let's see. There we go. That one's 5.85 by 5.85. That'll work. So I'm going to hit set. That'll look great. Okay. So I want that to stitch first before the lettering. Okay. So I'm going to go into edit, and we've got, here it is, that little button there. And I'm going to move it. We'll switch them. There we go. That looks good. I'm going to tell it okay. That'll look great. That's exactly what I'm looking for right there. So I need a very, very light gray thread. This one will work. And let me get out and show you guys how I thread the machine. Now, threading an embroidery machine is exactly like threading a sewing machine. The only difference with this is that it's moving the fabric for you because of the embroidery design versus you moving the fabric like you normally do when you're using a domestic sewing machine. So this is the thread I'm going to use for my background quilting on this particular one. I'll get this out of the way. Now, this has a green on it that I was using yesterday, and I've left a big long tail hanging down. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and this is how I change my threads. I take one end of it and tie it to the end of the existing thread. I kind of twist them so they think that they're one, make a big loop and pull the tail through, and that is it. Okay. Then I reach in front of the needle and unthread the needle and then just pull it gently through there. I do like to use the thread guide on the top of the machine this is really designed for you to be able to make bobbins, but I like it because it gives a nice guide, keeps this thread from getting caught in this little tension disc here. Pull the needle, pull it through till I've got the knot, and then just like that. So very easy. However you thread your sewing machine is how you thread your embroidery machine. And that's it. We're ready to go. It's that simple. So I'm going to put I need to hit embroidery to tell it, okay, I've done all my editing. I added a new design. I've done all my editing. I'm ready to go. Metallic thread would be great on this. Yes, it would. So I'm going to put my foot down. And you have to make sure that your hoop is in. that helps. And the reason my button is still red is there we go. Change to a larger embroidery frame. No way. Oh, it's the 5x7. That's right. Look at that. My goodness. Can you believe that? Yeah. That's how my life goes, you guys. That's how I roll around here. Yeah, that's how it goes. Okay. Do I need a special or different needle when using metallic thread? No, ma'am. Now, Brother and Baby Lock machines are made in the same factory, and they are timed with organ needles. All right. So that's why an organ needle came. This is my 6x10 hoop, you guys. That's why an organ needle came with your little accessory pack if you have a Brother or a Baby Lock. And I was having thread shredding issues big time when I was using Schmetz needles. So I got away from them and I started using organ needles, and all of my thread shredding problems stopped. So just FYI. Okay, make sure that's nice and big. There's the one. This 6x10 has a little belly button. See? Put that in there. That's because I added in the background quilting in a 5.85 size. That's exactly what happened there. That's my fault. If you are doing this in a 5x7 and you use their design that they say to, you won't have that problem. Okay. There we go. I am going to use the lines on my little mat here. This thing is so handy. You get a quilter's cut and press, you'll just love it. So I am aligning my fold with the center there horizontally, and there we go. Easy peasy. See that? I didn't have to draw a crosshair on the stabilizer. There, you happy now? Looks like it. My light turned green. That's what happens, guys. That's what happens. Organ needles. Yes, absolutely organ needles. Yeah, I'll show you what they got, what they look like, y'all. I buy them by the 100. They're wonderful. These are organ needles. They're in my Amazon store, in my embroidery, sewing and embroidery, quilting and embroidery favorites. I think I have it on both. And it is the 7511 EBBR. There's a fly in here. My husband lets them in. Y'all, the door, my front door to the outside of my house is right there. So my husband comes in and out of here all the time. I get flies. It happens. Okie dokie. So we're ready to go now. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the button and it's going to do its thing. So background quilting first. Now, again, I am not doing the little mittens and the scarf and all that, but when you would probably just shrink it a couple of clicks to your 5x7. Yeah, you could. I generally don't like to do that because you never know if stuff's gonna work. Yeah. What are the square? Are the squares quilt as you go? You're asking because you're quilting each square. What are you missing? They are not quilt as you go. Well, you're gonna do 9 individual blocks and then sew them together. That's the how they are going to put all that together. Does that make sense, Kim? Yeah. So, oh, that's so pretty. I'm going to go get the trimmer by George and show you guys what I'm talking about, but I'll let you watch this. This is such a pretty design. I really like it. Yeah. Oh, so Zola says she outgrew her SE 1900 and you need to upgrade to the bigger hoop size. Yep. Yeah, hoop envy is an expensive thing to have. I'm sorry. Okay. So I've shown this on my channel before, the trimmer by George. And what this does is, this is the 3.0. If you've got the 1.0 or the 2.0, you don't need to run out and buy another one unless you want to, but they all work the same. It has a metal edge right here. See that? There, it's a metallic edge, right? You need the larger rotary cutter in order for it to work. Most of the time, I can use this one and it works just fine. The button, usually like on an Olfa, will get in the way and it won't reach all the way down. You'll think it's broken, but it's not. And you just slip this underneath the edge of the fabric and fold it over, and leaving the stabilizer and the batting exposed. And then you just, and it trims right next to the stitch line without damaging the fabric that you're going to use in your seam allowance. And then you can flip this back over and it has like a 1/2 inch edge right there, and you can trim it. And then all of your edges are all the same size. So it's a wonderful tool. And I like that background quilting too, Debbie. It's a beautiful design. I used it in my Peace on Earth quilt that I just finished. So I used this beautiful winter design. So that's what I'm trying to show you, though, is that you're not limited to just, well, you either have to use their design or not at all if you didn't want to purchase them. There's a lot of other options for you to be able to use. Yeah, you thought just to try it and you're hooked. I know. That happens. We're almost finished here. I love this. Now, the trimmer by George won't work on this particular block because it didn't give me the definitive outside edge. I did an all over quilting and it's fine. If you have to sew the batting and the batting, the stabilizer, the batting, and the fabric into the edge of the quilt, it's not that big of a deal. It's not, it never comes out that bulky that it messes up. So sure. Oh, good. Diane's joining us on our lunch. All right. So now I am ready to stitch. And I've got this beautiful blue. This is from Exquisite. I think this is going to look very cute. I'll use it throughout the whole, for the hats and everything. Although, is this the right blue? Where's the rest of the kits for this month? Here. This is not it. I want to match my thread to my fabric for the dark blue, and I don't know what I did with the kit because, like I said, things grow. Oh, I left it on the ironing surface. Hold on. Yeah. All righty. Well, so I want to match my thread to my background fabric, and I don't. This one is just too much of a royal, I think. See how that doesn't work? Too much. So I've got a deep navy here. That's better, right? When you're doing these projects, if you're brand new to embroidery, you don't have to stick to the exact same thread brand, so long as you stick to the same thread weight. So both of these are 40 weight. One is an Isocord and one is Dimes Exquisite. I also have, let me show you. Yes, clear blue tiles limit you to one size of scale. Everything is the same size. I've got some Madeira Poly Neon in here. This one is pretty. That's closer. Let's look at this one. That's even better. See, that's even better. So I'm going to use this one. So don't feel like that, you know, if you don't have the right thread brand, that you can't do it. So yeah, that's too royal. That's too dark. And this one is just right. Yeah, I will trim this to the size that they say to trim it to. Everything's going to line up just fine. Yeah. So I cut the thread up here and drop it down. And then I take the next color and tie it to it. Okay. See how fast this is? And it's just going to do the chilling with my snowmies. Okay. So if you guys decide to get into this, you're going to see that every single step, every single snowman, the steps are all the same. There might be, you know, different designs, but they're all the same. Okay. So it's just the same thing. There they are showing you how to trim it using that orange pop ruler. That's why it doesn't matter how big it is. We're going to trim using the orange pops. So Once you get it going, it's going to all be the same. Yeah, you will square all of these blocks to 4.5 inches. What do you, I've got so much stuff over here I can't even move around, y'all. So you've watched my video on clear blue tiles. Thank you. And then a short 6-minute one on the YouTube on the snowman. You've been following several comments on Facebook about clear blue tiles, and it's love it. Must have or not. I really like the clear blue tiles because I can use those designs on just about everything. So, and I'll be honest with you, I probably should have used the block by block so that I got that outer line in order to be able to trim, but that's no problem. I would use that instead in the clear blue tiles kit. Uh-oh. Check and rethread the upper thread. Did you hear it go ka-thunk? That happens. Don't freak out about that. You want a good pair of curved scissors, embroidery scissors. Okay, so let me show you what happened. This thing was zipping right along. I'm going to go a little bit wider so you guys can see what I do here. This happens. Don't freak out about it. There's a certain set of steps that you want to do when you have a thread break, always, okay? So the first thing is to, it already is cut on the top. If you've got a cutter on your machine, go ahead and hit that. That's going to do the trim underneath for the bobbin. Otherwise, you'll pull it out and you'll have a big old long bobbin thread hanging there. Okay, so undo this. I'm glad it happened so you guys can see. I always pop the little door open and I will go back in and rethread the bobbin just in case. Put the bobbin back in the way it needs to go. Okay. And then if you have any kind of extra anythings on the outside, you want to trim those up. The back might have some fuzzies, trim those up. It looks okay. Got a little bit of a knot there. You just don't want a big old hot mess of threads back there. You want to clean that up. Okay, that's fine. This is what it looks like. Got that. So that's taking care of the machine part of it and the hoop part of it. Now on the thread, I can barely see it. If you can't see the end of your thread, come from up here and grab it. I'm going to show you how. I can see the end of my thread, but I'm going to show you how to get the thread out. Start at the top and come around and follow the thread path around to get it out. We're kind of hung up in there. I've got to hang up. That's a problem. That's the reason you don't want to yank it backwards. Okay, there we go. That's nice. All right. This is hard to unthread from this direction. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it and pull it out. don't yank it back through the machine. That's not what you want to do, because if that little end has a bunch of fuzzies, you can get those fuzzies wedged up inside. You don't want to do that. Oh, let me open my thread guides. There we go. And okay, now on the machine, what you need to do, wrong direction. The greatest button you will always use on your machine is this one right here. It has a needle with a plus and minus sign. I'm going to touch that. And you want to go back 20 to 30 stitches. Okay, so that makes sure you don't have any gaps in stitches that did not occur before the break happened. So I'm going to hit minus 10 and minus 10 and maybe minus 10 more. And okay. And then I'm good to go. So I've got a green button on the machine, and I'm just going to hit the go button. Okay. So don't do anything by like moving stuff around in your hoop. You don't want to do that. So that's how you handle a thread break. They happen all the time. And now if you have that a lot, I mentioned earlier an organ needle. Okay. If you have a lot of thread breaks and you're using a certain kind of thread, your machine might not like that thread. That's something to take into consideration. So this is Madeira Poly Neon that I'm using, this little bitty spool right here. It seems to be doing okay. It is wound differently, so it's coming off the spool differently. There, that'll probably help a little bit. It was kind of twisting itself around the spool pin, so I just moved it over one. There we go. All right, so this is just going to continue to stitch out. All Brands has the screwdriver too. The same driver at Baton Rouge. Just ordered one. That's where I got mine. Yeah. But there is another place you can get one that's a little bit, it's like half the price. I just can't remember where. So you think you read block by block if no backing. I think you're right. And then use clear blue tiles if you're going to do a quilt that has the backing attached. I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right on that. So the thing that they do, it's not just a cut and dry, do this, 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 this. They give you options. If you're going to do this, then do it this way. If you're going to do that, then do it this way. So it's completely up to you how you want to do it. I'm probably doing it a different way too. So. But that screwdriver is very, very handy. So, all right, you guys. So we have been doing this now about an hour and a half and a little over. And something sounded funny. We're going to break. Yeah, it doesn't sound good. Did you hear that? That little click, click? When you hear that, that's something jumping around wrong inside. And you might get, let me cut it. I can hear that already. It's going to shred that thread. Listen to your machine. Your machine's going to tell you when things go wrong. Yep, it sure did. Your machine's going to tell you when things are wrong. I could slow the machine down. I got a little snaggle on there. See that? You can slow the machine down. That might help. I honestly suspect it's the thread, you guys. That's just me personally. So now this thing was trying to shred. I'm going to go ahead and pull it through till it gets a nice healthy piece and gets rid of the weakened thread at that end. Thread the needle. again, I do this every time just to make sure that the bobbin is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And it didn't jump out and get all wiggy on me. Let me clean this up. I'm going to go back about, I don't know. I've got some fuzzies on there I don't like. So I don't want to keep you guys all day. But listen, I've got to get packing. We're leaving for the coast in about an hour, so I've got to get packing. The spool cap might help, Lillian. You're right. I may do that. So watch the Stitchuation Room in the mornings. It's very motivating. Well, thank you. That's great advice. Watch the Stitchuation Room. Yeah. Oh, you're saying Bex. I don't know. People have called me that before. That's funny. Oh, you're talking about Bex from Texas. You're trying to get back in the groove of sewing and embroidery. Oh, I see. I thought you were talking to me. Oh, well, you know what, Bex? I'm going to put you in my prayers. It's a pretty much relearning at this point. Well, I tell you what, it's so good for your soul to be stitching. Okay. So, all right, you guys. So I'm going to clean this up and I'm going to let it finish stitching. So you got the idea on that. Monday, probably about 10 o'clock or so after Stitchuation Room. Yeah, Beth, I was talking to you. No, that's so funny. Yeah, the weather on the coast is supposed to be nice from what I understand. I don't know. It looks a little white skies out there, but hopefully no rain. It doesn't matter. We'll be inside some too. So I'm going to clean this up and finish out this block. And then maybe Monday we will go ahead and do one of the snowman blocks. And yeah, not maybe. I will on Monday. And well, good. We'll keep you in our prayers back so that you stay cancer free. Good for you. I've had friends go through that, and what a trial. You are a strong lady. So we'll do this again. We'll do a snowman block on Monday with the applique, and I will show you how to do it using, where you can trim it all out, and we've got the pieces. I'm not going to pre-cut my pieces. I'm going to trim them around and all that. So, and anyway, so this has been a long one because it had a lot of beginner information in it, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying with me. And if you would be so kind, hit the thumbs up button. That helps the channel a whole lot. And I will see you guys on Sunday, 4 p.m. Central, for new products that are out on the market, new fabrics that I have. And we'll do some giveaways as well. Please share my channel with your friends and your guilds. And if I don't see you Sunday, I'll see you Monday morning, 7 a.m. Central. All right. We'll talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.